Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is how to make your mat board have a right corner, a 90-degree corner to measure from if it doesn't have that. So I pulled out a lovely piece of mat board from the pile with quite an interesting corner here. I'm going to show you how to turn that into a nice straight right-hand corner in case you need to do that with the mat board that you pull from the pile as well. First of all, this mat does actually have a nice corner that I could measure out from here. So really, you can just measure out from a nice corner and then you'll end up cutting this stuff off. But just for the sake of showing you an example, if you have a piece that's just totally like got edges that are not forming 90-degree corners and you have no good edge to start from, I'm going to show you how to make that happen. Okay, so with a smaller piece, you can actually use the grid on the mats to guide you to cut a nice 90-degree edge. And so how I would do that is I would take one edge that I'm choosing to use and make the corner a 90-degree corner, and I would line up that edge with the grid. And then what I would want to do is, once it's lined up with the grid, is look for a perpendicular grid line that I could use to form a 90-degree angle. So right here, there's this line that's between the 2 and the 3 mark, so it's at the 2.5 mark. And so I'm just going to put my ruler and line it up on the left-hand side with that line, and then also on the right-hand side here, and just make sure that it's lined up here, it's lined up here. So across here it would also be lined up. And I'm going to take the pencil and just put a line there. Okay, and then I can actually just leave that in place and just start cutting. And then just remember, you want nice, ooh, whoops, okay. Go back and start again. Nice light cuts. Over and over again, just until the mat board splits. Okay. And so then we have a nice 90-degree corner that I could measure out from. Another way that you can fix an edge to get a 90-degree corner is you can use a Tsquare. So really important with the Tsquares, you want to make sure that the mat board is actually like going off of the table, and then you'll be able to lay the Tsquare down flat like this, and this part of the Tsquare will lie straight, like flush against the mat board. If you try to do it on the table, what you'll notice is there's a gap here, and then when you draw your line, your pencil's like not going to know where to go, and it's going to wobble, and you're not going to end up with a straight line. So always make sure that when you're using a Tsquare, this is resting right against the edge that you want to use as a guideline to get your 90-degree corner. And then I'm going to slide this as far as I can over to the right here, so that way it's just this little bit, and it's resting nice and flat. I'll take my pencil and just go like that. Okay, and then I'm going to switch out the Tsquare for the yardstick to actually cut this. And so I'll put the yardstick flush with the line. And again, make sure that you're doing all of your lines on the back, as I am, because you can see this number right here, which I would never want on the front of my mat. Okay, and then I just need my mat knife. And again, just nice, steady, repeated cuts, keeping the blade nice and perpendicular. Not too much pressure, because remember, when you add too much pressure, you start to lose control, and that's when you start to get a really ragged edge. And then eventually you'll just feel it pull away, and you're good to go. And so now I have a nice 90-degree corner that I can measure from.